Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good evening. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear followers and subscribers. This is a new video. In this video, I'm going to discuss seasonal adjustment of time series data. But before that, I will also try my level best to detect seasonality. So to do that, let me open my Eview and I will download data from a Fred website. So work file, and I'm using weekly initial claims data of the US, and the dates. My starting date is 1st January 1989, and the last date of my data is 31st December 2019. Clicking OK. So here is the range of the data, and I'll download data from the Fred website. The total number of observations is 1618. Now I'll open database, and in database here I will click this and I'll go to Fred database, clicking OK. Now I'll browse, and after browse I'll click on all series search, and here I'll write initial claims. So there are two series. One is this initial claims. This is weekly data, but these are serially adjusted, seasonally adjusted. But I'm interested in this one. This is also weekly data, and this is non-seasonally adjusted. So I'll click this and I'll drag it here. Eviews will process it, and then the time series is here, which I just downloaded from the Fred series. Clicking double on this, I have the series, and this is from 1st January 1989, and the data goes all the way up to 29th of December 2019. After this, I would like to see its graph, and here is the graph, and there is a clear seasonal pattern in this data. You can see there are spikes in this data, but I can also do this by another formal method. I want to detect seasonality in this data. So estimate, and this is my initial claim, non-seasonally adjusted, constant, and I use this with 4 legs because there are 4 quarters, 4 seasons. So I want to see if there are seasonal elements in this data. So let me click it, and here is my regression. Now if you see the first leg, this is significant and this last one is significant. So this clearly shows that there are seasonal factors in this data. Okay, so now I will make a seasonal adjustment, and for that I'll go to proc, and under crop I'll go to seasonal adjustment, and there are two methods available here in this. So first I would like to click on STL decomposition. This is the first method, and this is the series that is seasonally adjusted, and this is seasonality factor, and this is trend. So if I click this, Eviews is processing and it will create some graphs of this data. So let me see what happens. So here are 4 graphs of this data. Now this one is this first one is the original data, that is not adjusted, seasonally not adjusted. This is the trend factor in the original data, and this is the seasonal factor. And after removing the trend and seasonality, this is the remainder, and finally this is the adjusted series of initial claims. So I can this is original data, and this is the seasonally adjusted, and I'll open this as a group, and then I'll check its graph, and here is its graph. Now if you see, there are 2 graphs. The one with blue is the original data with the high spikes, and the second one, that is the orange, that is the seasonally adjusted data. This also follow the original data very closely, but this has seasonally adjusted. This is seasonally adjusted data. So this is how we can adjust data seasonally. Let me also show that in the database here I also have initial claims, and that is adjusted. So let me bring it here, and this is ICSA. So now I also want to compare this with my seasonal adjustment and the original data. So I'll open all these 3 as a group, and these are the 3 groups. This is the original, this is the data that this is non-seasonally adjusted, and this is seasonally adjusted with the STL decomposition method, and this data is given on the Fred website, which is seasonally adjusted. So let me open this as a group, and I want to see, to compare the graphs of the seasonally adjusted data on the Fred website and the one that we just did in Eviews. So if you see this, there are 3 lines. This blue one, this blue graph is not seasonally adjusted, and this red one, this is seasonally adjusted using the STL decomposition method, and this green one is for the comparison, which was downloaded from the Fred website. So both of these are more or less the same, but the one which we adjusted seasonally with the decomposition method has a little bit spikes. However, this is how we adjust seasonality when there are seasonal factors in the data. And why do we adjust seasonality? Because if there is seasonality factor in the data, so we may not rely upon this data as a researcher. So we must remove trend and seasonality from the data so that we can use the data for analysis and other purposes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very interesting, and you saw how we can do that using Eviews. And I didn't have the data, I just downloaded from the Fred website in Eviews, and there is a very interesting way of using Eviews to make seasonal adjustment. There is also another method that we can use for seasonal adjustment, and that is a moving rec. So I can do that in another video later on. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this is quite interesting for you. I thank you very much for your attention. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, kindly do subscribe and click on bell icon. I thank you for watching this channel and this video. Kindly do share this video and channel with your friends, with your colleagues,